How will you listen? Ready? Can you go turn up? So what is the first condition for a sin to be mortal? Ready?
The object must have grave matter.
Very good. Here, come get your go. Grave matter. Very good. Enrique, what is the second condition necessary for a sin to be mortal?
Full knowledge.
Full knowledge. Very good. And Julie, what is the third? Deliberate consent. Yes. Okay, now let's see if we can apply what you just learned. Okay. Some people have asked me, Father, what is? Oh, Julie, you can have all three. People have asked me, in your experience, what is the most common mortal sin that people fall into? Right? What do you think? What is the most common mortal sin that people fall into? Okay? Adultery. What else? Rosemary? Lust. Okay. Right? Blasphemy. Okay. Those are all mortal sins. Rayleigh? Sloth. Okay. Right? Murder? Okay. Common. So no. So to this. Well, okay, no. Okay. Alina, stealing. Okay. Y'all still haven't. You still haven't fit it. Okay. Say it. Lying. Okay. Pedro. I know, but what? Which commandment? Nivea? Missing holy day of obligation. And what is the most common holy day of obligation that people miss? Sunday. So not going to Sunday Mass is the most common mortal sin. And the sad part is people don't realize it. They don't recognize it. Okay? So let's talk about that first, okay? So, grave matter. Why is missing Sunday Mass grave matter? Pedro. Okay, but what makes it grave matter? You need to point it to one of the commandments. Because people tell me, it's not in the commandments. Alina? That is part of it, but there's a specific commandment. Do y'all know the commandments? Good. Only have one God is the first commandment. No. Honor father and mother is the fourth commandment. The first three commandments deal with God. Only have one God. Only worship one God. Second commandment, honor God's name. Do not use it in vain. And then the third commandment, Rosemary, is keep holy the Lord's day. God says that. He says, if I really am your number one, then I'm telling you, you need to come worship me on the day that I tell you to worship me. And the day that he tells us to worship him is Sunday. Okay? So grave matter. Missing Sunday Mass. Grave matter. Okay? Second part. Full knowledge. Do you know that? Yes. Okay? You know that. I told you that. Okay? Then third. Full consent. Full consent. This is where sometimes people, this is where then, depending on the circumstance, it may or may not be a mortal sin for them. Okay? So, let's say Gavin, you didn't come to Mass on Sunday. Okay? And Gavin, you knew that missing Mass on Sunday was a mortal sin. But the reason why Gavin missed Sunday Mass last Sunday was he had the flu and was running 102 fever. So is Gavin guilty of mortal sin? No. Okay. Daniela missed the holy day of obligation of Christmas. And she knew it was wrong to miss Christmas Mass. And the reason why she missed Christmas Mass was because her abuela came from Mexico and she said she had to go to the airport to pick her up. Is Daniela guilty of mortal sin?
Yes.
Why? Pedro? Yeah, she could have come on a different time. It's really hard to miss Mass in the United States of America, okay? Like if you tell me, oh, Father, we traveled to Iraq. That's in the Middle East where they're mostly Muslims. If you tell me you went to Iraq and you couldn't find a Catholic church, gotcha, I believe you. It is hard. But you tell me, I've had people tell me, Father, I missed Mass, and it was because we went to go visit our relatives, and I said, where did you go? Houston. Come on, man. There are a lot of Catholic churches in Houston, Texas, okay? So, okay, here's another one. You miss, let's who we're gonna pick on. Okay, Carolee missed Sunday Mass. Carolee missed Sunday Mass. She knew it's wrong to miss Sunday Mass. But the circumstance was that they were actually coming to Mass, but their tire blew out. Okay, was it? So is she guilty of missing Sunday Mass? No. Okay. Well, yeah, it's something that you could not control, okay? All right? Or let's go back to Gavin. So Gavin missed Mass because he had the flu, but his mom also missed Mass because she was taking care of him. Is she guilty of mortal sin? Yeah, the answer is no, she's not guilty. She's taking care of Gavin. Gavin's just puking everywhere. He feels miserable. So mom needs to stay with him, okay? So yeah, so if you are taking care of someone who's severely sick, you have to take care of them, okay? And so then you would not be guilty of mortal sin. Yes?
What if someone has an additional family and they go over there like every other weekend and they don't go to Mass? And what if that
Yes.
situation?
Sure. So because we have this situation, maybe your parents are divorced, and so you're running. They both have custody over you, and they share custody over you. And so this weekend you stay with the family that goes to church, but next weekend you go to the family where they don't care about church, or possibly they're not even Catholic, and they refuse to take you to Mass. Then are you guilty of mortal sin? No, you're not. It's out of your control, especially when you're still kids, and especially when you can't drive yet. Okay, you have more excuses. However, let me tell you this though, don't take that as a, not to have to go to Mass pass, free pass. I want you to really think about, have there been situations that you wanted to go somewhere and then you bugged your parents, And so if you would bug your parents because you wanted to go to this place, do you at least try to bug your parents enough to ask them to take you to Mass? Okay? And if you do your part and they still, no, we're not going to Mass, you're not guilty of mortal sin yet. When you start driving, guess what? You're going to be guilty. Okay? So it's good to already foster that habit, okay? That if you have, maybe your parents don't go to Mass, you do have a responsibility of saying, hey, Mom and Dad, can we go to Mass? You do have a responsibility to at least do that, to try to convince them. They're like, oh no, don't do that. Come on, just leave us alone, okay? Then you can say, can I go to Mass with, if you have a relative, especially a relative who goes to Mass, or if one of your friends, their family goes to Mass, you say, can I go to Mass with them? Okay? And then if they're still like, no, well, you've done your best, okay? You've done your best, okay? But just know that when you are able to drive a car by yourself legally, then all the responsibility to get to Mass is on you, okay? And so it's so important, All right? So that is, unfortunately, the most common mortal sin that I hear most frequently during confession. Okay? So unfortunately, and that's such an easy fix. Such an easy fix. Okay? Okay, let's use another example. Killing someone is grave matter. Okay? Taking a life is grave matter. Okay? What if, is there ever an instance that someone does not know, they did not have full knowledge that taking someone's life is serious? Can you imagine an instance that that could be true? No? Oh, okay. Okay, that's a good example. So, someone, the doctor is doing surgery on someone, okay? And so he did not intend on killing the person, but the person dies on the operating table, okay? So, did someone's life get taken? Yes, grave matter, okay? Did they know that taking someone's life is grave matter? Yes, they knew that. But number 3, did they have full consent? No, why? Yeah, he was actually trying to help. He was doing the surgery to try to help them. But then something just went wrong. Either his error or maybe the body just rejected the surgery. Okay?
So if you kill someone by accident, it's...
Correct. If you kill someone accidentally, it's not a mortal sin. But however, we have to talk about what kind of accidental killing you did. Okay? So, what if you were drunk and you were driving a car and you hit someone and you killed them? Did you mean to kill them? No. But, exactly. But you shouldn't have been in the car in the first place while drunk. Okay? And so, the law has distinguishes that as involuntary manslaughter. That means you killed somebody, okay? But you didn't willfully do it. It was involuntary, okay? But you could get on a whole bunch of charges, okay? Okay. Okay. So let's say, so we're going back to, can you imagine an instance that someone kills somebody, but they did not know that it was wrong to kill somebody? Okay, how do you not know? Ray, can you think of an instance that somebody could legitimately not know that it is wrong to kill somebody?
If they have like a mental illness.
Exactly. Someone who has a mental illness. You have people who have Down syndrome, okay? And there's degrees of that. So I'm not saying that all people with Down syndrome cannot know right from wrong, but there's degrees of that, okay? There's also, in court, people can plead insanity, okay? Where they went crazy, and that's a real thing, going crazy, but they went crazy at a moment, okay? Momentary insanity. That they just got so, okay, and that they couldn't control themselves and they killed somebody, okay?